Hello folks, well we've got a rather poorly looking Midland, no we haven't, Binatone 5-star, and I have just overnight, I just sprayed some WD-40 with it vertical like this onto the shafts and they've totally eased off. So that was one of the things with the seized shafts. The volume one's broken. The Delta Tune one's broken, but there's some bits in this bag. So Mr. Chippy might be able to put that back together. We've got the knobs, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, oh no, I've got 5 plus the channel. May as well use the customer's power lead as a special treat. This is the customer who I think has a massive fleet of lorries with Amstrad 901s in. But this isn't the only Binatone 5-star he's got. So, let's connect it up to our power supply. He says the set basically works. So we'll go through that. I don't like to do the same sets twice, but we did the Midland 76900 base station, which is now starting bids at less than I paid for it. But if I get the bike now price, I'll make £20 profit for all my work. Let's see. Where's the fiberglass brush? I can see some corrosion on the aerial socket, so I may as well get that dealt with now. Chances are it's opened up as well. Good. That's a start. We're going to have to take the screws out. We're going to have to take all the screws out, so I may as well do that right now. And then we'll run through how well it's working. Because the one that's broken is Delta Tune, so it's until we get to tuning the receiver, it's immaterial. Is Mr. Chippy due here today? I don't know. I want to get this out today because I want to also do power lead in the Nissan Almera. We did the aerial 10 days ago. I want to do a power lead, and that needs to be going through the bulkhead properly. So are we drilling the bulkhead, or is it going to be a bung we can put a hole in? I don't know. Right, let's get a sheet of paper on our luxury clipboard. It's about the 27th. It always makes me laugh because Rotel 240s fetch more money than Binatone 5-stars, yet these are a better set. Same in as bigger speaker. And the external internal speaker switch is absolutely wonderful. Right, power on. Let's make sure we've got things in the right position. Full display. Are we in PA? Yeah. Well, luckily I think the volume control may work enough to get us serviced. So we'll plug in our standard replacement Cybernet mic. Test gear. camera remote on the floor. Channel 20. Picture in picture on. Let's go through the parameters. I've plugged the aerial in instead of the test equipment. Okay, here goes. Let's turn the volume down for now. That's interesting. That's not good. There's some kind of short circuit on the output. It's doing. Let me tell you what it's doing. It's doing about half a watt, but the needle's banging across, and the ammeter's doing 1.6 amps. So there's something wrong there. So I'm not going to pursue that. Let's listen to receive. So I know the delta tune's broken, so we'll tune for best signal to make it fair. I'm going to put up the SINAD meter to show you what happens in these circumstances. I'll just go back to transmit and just key up. Hello, got all the labels falling on the floor. I'll just key up and we'll just see if we can get a frequency out of the 2779079. We know we can tune to that, but we've got to take into consideration the delta tune control's broken. So we'll get started there. 2779. Right. So here's what we do. So delta tune is, remember, is disabled, so I don't know whether it goes high or whether it goes low. It's going to be doing something. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a lower signal on. So the SINAD meter is about 6 dB. Just show you that. Hello, where is the? Oh, it is there, minus all the things on top of it. So what we're going to do is move the frequency of the signal generator for best signal. And the best signal is there, 79215. Let's go back to the frequency counter, 2779215. So that's where it's best receiving right now. So now we'll do the test. So at that frequency, the radio is doing 0.88 microvolts. I'll just check RF gains at full. It is, because that's not good for one of these. For 10 dB, it's 0.78. And for 20 dB, if it actually will do that, it will in its 1.4. So squelch, put the squelch to full. And let's see, let's put the attenuator up on the screen. Let's just see where that comes in. I'd like it to be 100 microvolts. 3, 10, 30, 100 comes in at 155. It's a little bit tight. There's no hard and fast rule, that's just my experience. Let's go and put that to threshold. I've got the signal generator to stand by. Set threshold on the squelch on the radio. Put the signal generator back on. It's parked at 0.3 of a microvolt. And it's doing 2.1. So that's a bit too tight as well. So on the meter, to put 100 microvolts on the radio, the meter should read S9. And it doesn't, but to get that, it is 600 microvolts instead of 100 microvolts. Meter lamps okay, switches broken, pots broken, sockets alright. Let's check PA. Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Fine. And its internal speakers working. What am I doing? It doesn't come with a mic. Good. Well, don't do anything else whilst it's not doing the proper output power. I've got to find out why it did it for a moment and it dropped off. Go back into transmit. We'll put the main meter back up and let's just do that once again. I'm in PA. Let's do that once again. No. Something is very much wrong. So we'll unplug the PA speaker, we're done with that. Unplug the internal speaker, we're done with that for now. Just have a poke around and make sure there's nothing silly. I can't see any distress capacitors. I'll put the other glasses on. Things when you're looking at transmit being low is it volted down? And it is. Is that dressed properly? It is. Right. One of the first things we can do is to change the low power preset, which clearly isn't working. I'm going to have a look for dry joints on here, so I'll come back to you. Okay, I've been round for dry joints and we seem to have got transmit now. It's 4.7 watts. That's not good. Probably why it's got dry joints. It's probably got so hot that it's melted its own solder. 4.4 watts on channel 40. And 4.6 watts on channel 1. Let's go to low power. Nothing. The transmit current back on full power and back on channel 20. Oh, we've come disconnected, have we? So it's worse using the power lead than it is with my normal crocodile clip arrangement. Power consumption is 1.403. I'm going to put it to low power just so I can set the VCO without putting the transmitter under any more strain, and it's already been put. Right, where's Mr. Chippy's croc clip? Must have got about 5 of his here somewhere. Resistor 4. So we do this on channel 40. Supposed to have 4 volts. This is 4.6. So on receive, we need to adjust the core till we get 4 volts. So this is channel 40. There's 4 volts. Going to transmit. We should also have 4 volts. That's very, very close. Red trimmer. Had I not done this as a demonstration, I'd have left transmit because it's near enough. Back to receive, both 4 volts. Put down 3.8 on the clipboard. Now 4 plus 4. And we need to just check that on channel 1, it's between 1.8 and 2.4 or something like that. So on receive, .23, which is fine. Non-transmit 2.27, so that's set. So a little bit out on receive, but not so on transmit. It's best to do it. You end up with channels dropping out in temperature extremes. Right, let's see whether we can tune this transmitter up. So we're on channel 20. We are now. So we want the centre of the peak. Let's go back to high power. We won't be able to do it. With it being over power, we've got to be quick and wait between, because the transmitter's not supposed to run at this power except in service mode. So that is exactly where it should have been. It was absolutely perfect. That wasn't at peak. That was at peak. Okay, with the plastic trimming tools, using the blue one, we need to maximize these 3 but temporarily to balance the transmitter. So at 4.8 watts, and that was the absolute maximum. That was at the absolute maximum. And that was at the absolute maximum. So it's been left in the absolute maximum position, which you do just temporarily for service. So I'd like to sell these people a car that I've had full revs on all the time. No wonder it's melted the solder. So we need to turn the yellow one clockwise to get 4.4 watts. And the green one anti-clockwise. The manual says 3.8 watts, but you're entitled to 4. And anyone who thinks you get better range, thrashing the set at 4.8 watts, I'll tell you what, if you got 20 yards more, I'd be surprised. Yeah, 8 watts isn't double your range, it's about 4% or something like that. You work it out in decibels. But we've covered all that. Right, so we've got 4 watts now on channel 20. So we need to have those channels within 0.1 of each other, ideally. So let's go to channel 40. We have absolutely on the dot 4 watts, and on channel 1 we have very, very marginally over, so 4 watts there. I could put 4.01, but we'll put 4 watts. Our transmit current on channel 20 hopefully will have come down. It's 1.129. And our low power isn't likely to work because it'll be a duff preset. We've now got 20 milliwatts now, it's balanced properly. Let's just see whether it does adjust or whether it's a knackered preset. Tell you what, I think we're alright with that. It certainly isn't cracked, and I've set it for 400 milliwatts. But I'll keep an eye on that later on in the video. Deviation, and we'll go on the other test set for this properly. Wallow. Wallow. Let's go back to, are we on low power or high? Let's go back to high power. Wallow. Wallow. We're not in tune. Wallow. 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 It's reading ridiculous. It's 1.5 or something. Does it sound like on the hand portal? Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Oh, I bet I've got mic gain down from doing the PA. Testing, yeah, that's better. Wallow. It should be right. It's about 2.4. So we're going to go on the other test set because I want this set up properly. So we'll just want that in the central position. Let's plug into the test set. It's a bit high, it's about 3. But I've altered that control, so we'll reset this one. There we go. It's peaking at 2.5. There's an average around 2.2. Right, we'll plug back into this test set. Being the same on that, so that's good. So it was actually about 3. So we now go at 2.2 to 2.5. But I don't know because I had to alter the one of the controls to get it how it should be. So the power meter on this should now read 4 watts when on a dummy load. So need to adjust that. That's what it reads 4 watts. Good. Let's put the radio on frequency now. .779 127 gives us a bit of leeway as the crystal will drop with age. 2779127, which should be 125. So the next thing, I'll take the front panel off. I'm tempted to put it into the dishwasher, but it's not my set, so I won't. I hate it to come out cleaner than clean with no writing on it. Because that's what would happen. I think I've seen one of these screws kicking around the bench, so he'll get an extra one in it. So we'll just give that a quick clean over with a damp cloth, because I'm not going to go too overboard with that. The two issues. Oh, right. So it's what's happened here. We've actually come unscrewed, so it may not need a new control. I mean, because it does work all right, but it's nasty, isn't it? Yes, Mr. Tango, it's nasty. Mr. Chip, you'd say yes, just like you, Mr. Tango. I'll just cut the power. It's totally seized that. And so what's happening is the shaft's going round. I think we've got a scrap European set with this chassis, so maybe most sensible, rather than trying to unseize this and then it's still being nasty, to actually swap the control. There's also a Harrier CB with this chassis that's scrapped somewhere. And there's also a Binatone 5-star that I lent to Radio Cruncher and he kindly sent back. I'll tell you what, we may as well use that one. So we've got that in bits. While we've got things in bits, let's take this Delta Tune control out. You can see we've got the back bit there. See if we can get the screws out. Yes. What do people do with front panels, or is it as they throw them in a skip? So hopefully he's got two sets of contacts. I'm just going to put scratch L for low, or meaning bottom. So in this pack of things, he's managed to find these inside the set. Let's hope there's two. There are. There's both contacts there. All that usually happens is that these come on, the pressure comes away and the whole thing falls apart. So this is with slide switches in general, not Binatone 5 stars or CBs in general, it's slide switches in general. So if we can get the contacts back in there, oh, he's cleaned them up nicely, I'll give him that. That's one. You've got to have some patience and a steady hand to do this. I mean, we all know how awful Parkinson's disease is. When I was a little boy, there was a gentleman of our church back in Rotherham, in fact at Whiston, and he was all of a shake. I'd be about 5 or 6 at the time. I said to my mum, "Mummy, what's wrong with that man?" And she says he's got Parkinson's disease. Well, do you know what? His name was Mr. Parkinson. So can you imagine, as a small child, I thought that Parkinson's disease could only be had by somebody whose name was Mr. Parkinson. And of course, this awful illness can be had by people with other names as well. So, but I went for years, you know, never querying it because that was Mr. Parkinson's illness. So hopefully I can put this such that we can put this back together. I better put the other glasses on and clamp it. Yes, he's done a good job of cleaning the contacts while it was in bits. Right, moment of truth, did it actually work? Well, to see whether it's working, we'll look at the SINAD meter. So we'll put about 6 dB on, and when I change the switch from centre, it should change. Well, it certainly seems to do that. So with that in central position, let's go through the receiver. Checking that RF gain is at full, and the volume control is dangling out. Let's put the signal down to about 4 dB. Oh, did we do a reading? Yeah, we did. Let's hope we can get. I'll tell you what, we'll go for the detector first. So there's our detector. I'll just put it up on the oscilloscope for you. Not that one. That one. Very slightly out. Right, let's go back to the SINAD meter, about 4 dB. Making sure the signal generator is on frequency now, which 791. To 7 is where we set it. Just going back to the oscilloscope again. Because I hadn't got it on frequency, I could end up with it lopsided. Yeah. Right, back to 4 dB on the SINAD meter. And let's see whether we can get something better. See if anybody can actually see that meter. Slight improvement. No improvement. No improvement. Over to the IFs. Need a bigger signal for these. That was already at optimum. Whatever it is, we've got the sensitivity back. We're now at 0.2 of a microvolt. Let's see whether 10 dB. It's gone the other scale. There's overlap, so it might not help. You know, it says 0.21 on the other scale, so it's 0.2 as well. And for 20 dB, .34. S9 back on the signal generator. It virtually is S9. I'll do a tiny adjustment. There's 9. And let's see whether the squelch is now working properly or whether it just needs a little twiddle. So put the squelch to full on the radio. I'm going for that one because it's the second one along. Of course, I failed to notice or remember that the first one's out. So, signal generator. Let's go over to the attenuator so you can see what I'm doing. It's coming in at 30, so it's now too weak. So the opposite's happened. That's 100. There we go. So now we'll do the important test. What's threshold? I've done it again. Signal generator back on. No, good grief, it's 0.3 on this one. Right, so I'll find the appropriate scrap set and we'll do that. So here's our rather well travelled Binatone 5-star. It's been to Radio Crunchers and back, and it's got the Delta Tune switch. So you know what, we may as well swap his Delta Tune switch, and it's got the on and off switch and it's not seized. So it's an absolutely shocking shame that a set of this calibre ended up being bought as a scrapper. It was incomplete when I bought it, and there was too much missing to really build it up. No case, no front when I did buy it. So that's what we will do. So I think the easiest thing to do is actually cut the wires off, then it'll be doddle to match them back up. I think that's cut enough of them. Orange, black, violet, blue. Yeah, it all works out the same. Incredible. Right, I'll pause the video while I swap this over. Right, that's that one done. So now we'll move on to the... I'll keep this because it's probably absolutely fine. But we may as well have a one which hasn't been messed with. Right, I'll put my SINAD meter back on. I'll put that up on the inset picture, and then hopefully we can see what's happening. So we'll get that to about 6 dB. We're in. Oh, it's here. Yeah, I'm spot on in the centre. so we'll put it to 6. That's the central position. So we'll go one way and it gets worse. Back to centre. The other way it gets worse. Now we'll slightly change the frequency in what I think is the minus position. We'll go minus. And it's getting better. So we'll go back to the proper frequency. Which is there. Switch it to central position, and now we'll go to positive, and we'll put the signal generator high. And then back to the correct position. Right, yeah, I mean it seems to be the right way round. Right, so in the central position, just make sure it's still doing the same kind of excellent receive. It is. Make sure it's still transmitting. Good. Right, I'll go and polish up the front a little bit. I've just observed something. This hasn't got a screw, it's got a screw missing, so I'll slacken that off slightly. We've now got a spare screw from our donor scrap chassis. So let's hope we can get that to go in. Or is that the issue? So why wouldn't I be able to get that in? Tell you what, we'll take the top one out. Be half an hour to fix the radio and 2 hours to find out what's happened here. What is this third switch anyway? CBPA. Alright, let's try again. Yeah, it's lining up. Right, I'll take picture in picture off. So I just slightly elongated the holes with a file, and we've got that switch in. So that's another thing done. Right, we'll put the front on. First of all, I'm just going to pop some foam cleanser on that. Yeah, there's a bit of dirt coming off. So they've got 3 of these screws in. I think we can probably manage 4. When I was at Nottingham Radio, we did have a box of suitable screws. But I've always felt there was enough scrap sets to produce screws, but that's not been the case. I think they're M must be M2.5. He's just got the tabs. So that's the 3 that came out. That could be my bonus one. And if I can spot another bonus one. Yeah. Well, that's one bonus for today. And something else I've noticed, it's not always going into transmit. So I would think we've got a situation where we've lost springiness of the pin. So if I put a precision screwdriver, see, that one's alright, and that one's alright, and that one's alright, but that one isn't. It's all closed up. There we are. We'll come back to that. Put the knobs on. Right, power up. a speaker in. Oh, we've got a speaker in, but you have to switch it in, don't you? Oh, you need to plug the mic in. Yes, Mr. Tango. Going to transmit. Straight away, no problem. So we keep an eye on low power, still doing 400 milliwatts. Good. Lid time. And then we'll put it on the aerial and we'll go 19A Roger, and we'll lose one of the screws on the floor. Right, let's just see what others we've got. One and a Roger. A Roger. I think they're all having their din-dins with their mummies. Right, Binatone 5-star. Few issues there. The radio was basically pretty good. Few dry joints. Full 4-watt output. And you see why we reduced that. It doesn't give you better range, it just wrecks the radio. And that's why I had dry joints. So we've second-hand delta tune switch, second-hand on-off volume switch. We'll charge them £1 each for those. Of course, there aren't any others, so nobody else can have them. Right, that's it. Thank you for watching, Binatone 5-star. A 5-star radio from 1981.